All right. I'm a minute late, which is pretty shitty on my part. I'm hoping Hendo's a few minutes late and then I won't feel quite as bad, but he's actually got a pretty good recent track record of getting here on time. Here he is on cue. So now I actually feel a little bit bad. That's not too bad. 2 minutes. There he is. How are you?
I'm all right. What's going on?
What are you laughing about?
I was just having a bit of a chuckle because I just saw on Facebook it was Jason Craig from Big Shed. They're heading to Sydney and Newcastle, and I was just thinking, and they're going to Sweeney's and all sorts of stuff, and I was thinking,
Nice.
shit, if I was there, it would be pretty hectic. And I'm glad. I was kind of having a chuckle. Glad I'm not there.
Okay.
How are you anyway?
I'm good. I was just deep in the Future Magic offer document. When
I went through it as
lost
well.
track of time. Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, had a bit of a squiz through it and that sort of thing. Hey,
right, well, I've got that on the agenda.
I want to show you something.
Hang on one second.
Can you let me share?
I'm going live to Facebook first.
Oh, are we doing that? Oh, okay.
100%. That's what we do, mate. Ever since you told me we could do it.
All right. Well, while you're there, just let me share screen as well in the permissions.
No, I did. Oh, to record. Oh, wait, here we go.
No, I don't want to record.
Oh, okay.
I just want to share my screen because I want to show you something on my screen. Oh, I need to put up the thing on the other.
How do I do that? I can just make host. I don't want to do that.
No, don't go make host. You can go to the security tab, and then you go allow participants to share screen.
Done. There you go.
Pull up the contents.
All right, we're in the group too.
Awesome. I'll just stick a howdy in there. Anyway, what's been going on? Actually, that's what I wanted to show you.
What was the whole point of that?
Oh, I got to share my screen. Okay, I'll share my screen. Okay. Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm just sorting my shit out here. So I got a message from one of the 12 text message this week.
Okay.
And sent me this. Can you see that on your screen?
Ooh. Oh,
you know what that is?
I do know what that is. Yes, I've seen that before.
What is that? So for those who are getting audio only, what is that?
That looks like that's actually that's some news. That's some news to me. That's what that is.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did not. So
if you're just getting audio only, it's a picture of the production board from, is it Black Ops 2 or is it HQ?
Yes. Yeah.
Showing that Wayne Grodzitsky, the Grodzitsky, is in the tank.
Well, you and I heard it here first.
Yes, that's right. I heard it from one of the 12. Anyway, fucking sick invite to the brew day, mate.
Yes. No, that would have been nice. Yeah, it would have been nice to get invited to that. I'm
not sure if I was supposed to show other shit on there, but anyway, here we
are.
No,
that was amazing. I was not expecting that. Well, you've got a beer. That's not a sponsored beer.
I want to tell you a story about some quality improvements in Hollandia.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got
a Hollandia.
Oh, wait, are you going to tell me this story now?
No, wait, you go first. What do you
got there? I've got the Helios and Catchment Brewing collab, Harpy, which is this lady who doesn't have any clothes on with the claw coming out of her leg and the wings. Double West Coast IPA, 7.5%, brewed a week and a bit ago.
How did you get your hands on that?
Just turned up.
Oh, because Adam Shell, not that one, the other one, isn't at Helios anymore.
Really?
No, yeah, well, I went to his finishing up party, and he did a live stream and everything.
Well, a couple of things. First off,
so much happening.
Where does he work now, and can we get free shit from there?
He's at Parched.
Okay.
And yes, I hope so.
Okay. But they don't pack beer yet, do they? They're just. I went there the other day. It's cool.
Yeah, they can beer. Yeah, bloody oath.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
And
let's get some
Matty
free
Wolf
beers.
is also one of the 12. He's there as well. And
Yeah.
they're both graduates of the TAFE program. So imagine there's going to be a little bit of argy-bargy in the basement at Parch. But
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I went there the other day. It was good. The other question is, well, your question, who sent me these? It didn't cross my mind to check. I just thought it was one of the Adam Shells.
That's the thing. Who sent it to you?
Is the other Adam Shell working at Helios now?
No, there are no Adam Shells at Helios anymore.
Is Charlie at Helios?
Charlie's good at Helios, of course.
Could have been Charlie.
Could have been Charlie.
I'd love to know. I'll have to dig the box out of my bin.
Yeah.
To look at who sent it.
Well, the good thing is that it's not too tricky for me. I should go to Parch more often because I can just walk to the end of my street, jump on the ferry, go across to West End and walk up to Parch. It's actually not too far away.
So that would actually be way quicker than you actually commuting there on your scooter.
Yes. And I can drink and then walk home and get the ferry back.
Ferries are really fun.
Yeah, what I'm really looking forward to is them putting the green bridges in.
Is that what they're doing? There's so many bridges in Brisbane. They're constantly putting in footbridges.
Well, they're putting a green bridge in at Newstead Creek near the Brecky Creek Hotel.
Green bridge over what?
Over Breakfast Creek. Because it's only a little one near Newstead House there, right?
Yeah.
Because at the moment, all the cyclists and everything have to go up onto the main road and all that sort of stuff. So
I don't care about cyclists. Is there anything that
that's what green bridges are? They're not for cars.
Yeah, I get that, but what about walking? Like it doesn't help.
Yeah, cyclists and walking.
But it's not going across the Brisbane River. It's just going across the Brecky Creek.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
that's
the first one.
That's shit. I don't care about that. Your one will be big.
Well, yeah. Then there's one being built from Kangaroo Point to Alice Street in the city.
Alice Street. Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. I used to live at Kangaroo Point, and it would have been very, very good to be able to walk across that river.
Yeah. So pretty much from the Storybridge Hotel,
I used to live there.
All the way across to all the way to Alice Street, which
that's
is
a long stretch of river too. It'll be a long bridge.
And then there's another one that's due to be built from West End to the Regatta.
Oh, that's a fun one. Right. See, that'd be good.
And then there's another one that's due to be built from St. Lucia to West End.
West End. That's perfect for you.
Yeah, because that means that I can, walk to West End and have a beer and
that's awesome.
A little bit more and all sorts of stuff. So, and they're all being delayed because of the floods. It's a bit shit.
That's what I think they should do on the Gold Coast. They should completely get rid of the Gold Coast Highway and just replace it with. You can go on there if you've got an electronic vehicle or walking or riding a bike.
Yes.
It'd be great.
Absolutely.
It'd be so good. At the moment, there's a big, dirty highway going up with some of the most spectacular real estate in the country.
Yeah.
Rip it out. Don't need it.
Yeah, I agree. We'll put the tram in.
Yeah, the tram. Yeah, tram. I think I will use the tram. It's going to go past my work and my house, so I probably will use it when they do it. This is a really nice beer. It's quite dark. Look at it.
What style is it?
West Coast. It says double West Coast, but it's 7.5%. So I'm not sure what the double is, but.
Can I tell you about the quality improvements in Hollandia?
Tell me.
So here's the 4-pack, right? And you see this glued part here?
Yep.
Right. So on the last couple of times I bought Hollandia, they did a really good job gluing, and you would pick up the 4-pack and it would just fucking fall apart.
Oh, that's not good.
And they fixed it.
That's
quality
it.
Improvements. That's it.
Okay. All right. Innovation comes in small steps, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Continuous improvement.
All right. We've actually got a lot. We've got a lot on this week's agenda.
All right. What do you got?
There's a lot. There's well, I put this together, so I don't know if there's things on here that you don't want to get to, or there's a particular order.
Oh.
But the first thing I've got on here is the $300,000 of free BatB that they're splashing out to everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I made that up. $1,000, 1,000 kegs. I assumed around 300.
Yes.
Keg.
Yeah, right. I actually had a BatB at the Regatta on Monday night. not the same as in the can.
But you bought it.
Yes, I bought it because it was there. I went, oh, I've never seen it on tap before. And out of curiosity, I went and bought one. And I bought one for Adam Shell, not that one, the other one.
The other one.
And my mate Duncan. And didn't tell them I was buying them a better beer because they asked for a Tooheys New.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait,
And,
they were taking the piss asking for a Tooheys New, or they actually just wanted a Tooheys New?
Oh, that's kind of what you drink at the regatta.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you have a pack ale, have a Tooheys New.
You'd be able to tell from the colour, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was a different colour, and they picked it up straight away, and then I made disparaging comments.
So
they were not impressed.
Okay, it doesn't matter though, does it?
No, they drank it.
Yeah.
I paid for it. They drank it.
Next person walks in is going to pay for it.
All right. I think you need to chill out about this 1,000 free kegs thing.
Okay.
Did you read the terms and conditions?
Briefly, yeah. I had a look at the postcodes and whatnot.
Right. So they got 1,000 kegs.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically it's a 0+1 deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You do.
What do you mean that you buy one, you get one, a 1+1, you mean?
No, that's a 0+1.
What's the zero? What do you mean?
Well, it's basically you don't have to order a keg and then you get one for free, but only one.
I understand that. It's a free keg. How's that different to a free? Yeah. You're taking the piss right now.
No, I'm not taking the piss.
It's a free keg of beer.
Yeah, just one. That's all you get.
Okay.
Right. So it's a 0+1 deal.
Okay. Well, are you saying it could get worse? You could get
it's like
get a negative.
No. But doing X+1 deals is very common, on premise.
So we went from 10+1 to 8+1 to 6+1, 4+1 to 2+1 to 1+1, and now we're at 0+1. Is that?
Can't get any worse.
Yeah. Well, you get 0+2.
Shit, I didn't think about that.
You could get 0+10. We can keep going.
Well, I think that, I think it's as any X+1 deal is, it's all about picking up tap points and distribution and that sort of thing. I agree with you that it devalues the product, but then again, you got to think to yourself, all right, who are these guys trying to compete with, and is that sustainable? Fucking Mighty Craft's cash strapped as it is, let alone fucking cash strapped enough to give away fucking free kegs of beer, right?
Well, they're going all in on this better beer thing, which is probably very smart.
Yeah. I don't think it will be as successful on premise as it is off premise.
Yeah. What do you think overall about the idea though? Because like I know, like when I came into the industry, there's a lot of talk of people discounting beer and devaluing it, right?
Yes.
And it was never something we did. Like we didn't really give away any beer. It was just, it didn't feel right. We never had any money. We couldn't afford to give away beer. But there was, a few companies that gave away a lot of beer, and everyone knows who they are.
Yes.
And now it's getting to the point where it's, it was like you do a 10+1, but there'd be companies that would do 4+1, and they'd be like, these guys are now doing a 2+1, or they're getting, 2 free kegs. This has happened forever. And the general thing has been, well, they're going to end up devaluing the product, and they're going to run out of money, and no one's going to want to buy their beer. And I think that has happened to some of them. But then if it's kind of in every industry, it seems, to build a business these days, you just give shit away for the longest time and sustain the quality of your brand. And then all of a sudden you turn on the revenue dial, and then you start making money.
Yeah.
And you kind of leave a trail of destruction in your path. So that's kind of what's happening here, isn't it? Yeah,
there's a bit to unpack with this free keg thing with better beer, right? So I think, for instance, okay, what's better beer competing with, and what's their play? Right? It's a 3.5%, 4-ish%, low fours.
No, it's not. I think it's like 5%, isn't it? I think it's
it's only 4. It's 4.
Is it? I thought it was a full ABV.
That's 4, I think. Anyway, so it's basically, so it's there to, it's direct competition product like for like is Forex Gold, Great Northern, all those sorts of beers and that sort of thing, right? It's not competing with anything that one would consider to be craft, right?
Oh, I think Big Head would beg to differ. That held down that zero carb segment and built their entire business off it.
Yeah, on premise or off premise?
Both.
I don't see it that much up here though. You might see it a lot on the
Used to.
Goldie though.
No, I don't a lot anymore. Mainly in bottle.
Anyway, so
but that's been the whole business for this whole time.
Yeah, trying to yeah, true. But there's also an image around better beer as well. And so there's the sort of play where they're trying to fit. I think part of it as well is like with Stone and Wood having been sold to Lion, there are untied taps. And they're trying to get into those. Right. I get that, it's putting better beer in front of more people who may not know about the Inspired Unemployed podcast or anything like that. That's great, but it doesn't seem to be anything but free kegs, right? Where's the brand activation around this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
it's at the regatta, and all it is just another beer tap at the regatta,
Yeah, but it's fucking hard to get a beer tap at regatta. Like, there's people like we've been in business fucking 7 years and we can't get a tap at the regatta. So it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to work for them, because the whole thing has always been, you devalue the brand, and eventually, like, if you think about the brands that give away all the beer, and I'm not going to name them, but you generally know who they are, and you think about the value of their brand, and it's not great, in my opinion. But these guys' brand is indestructible. So combine that with a no-brainer deal. It's going to work very, very well for them. And it's a blatant kind of, like, it used to be kind of behind the scenes, like people would say, okay, we never give away beer, but you'd find out they were doing all these deals. This is just blatant and out there. It's like, we're giving away everything.
I wonder what Mazen would think about it.
I texted him when I was in Melbourne, actually. He's like, let's hang out. And then by the time I read it, I was back home in the Gold Coast.
I might ask him. I'm going to Melbourne next week. I might ask him.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people in our industry who'll be very cynical and not like it.
Yeah.
But do you just become the bitter kind of old person that complains about shit?
Old man yells at cloud.
Yeah.
That's you, Dan. You're the old man yelling at the cloud.
It seems to be 4.2%. So you're right.
I don't know. It's not sustainable. I'm not like it devalues the product. Maybe they might sell a few kegs. I can't see the sales team at Mighty Craft for some pub bringing up and saying, "Oh, I'd like to take advantage of the better beer offer," without something else being pitched.
Of course, they're going to pitch.
Yeah,
but
something. If it's not better beer, it's something else from the portfolio, and it's going to take a lot of, would you like a keg of this? No. Would you like a keg of that? No. Would you like, how about this? There's be a sales conversation around it. They'll sell something else with it.
I don't think so. I think there's been a whole lot of talk about, Stone and Wood's taps disappearing, and I think BatB are going to take them all, like you said.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I never really thought about that.
So I've got Mighty Craft at the end of this because they've released their quarterly results, and there's a lot to unpack. Okay. So let's come back to that. But
rightio.
Now the next one, BrewDog is the most valuable independent beer brand in the world, according to BrewDog James on his Instagram. I don't know if this makes news, but I
don't know.
It was interesting.
He wants his £2 billion valuation because that's where he gets his kicker. So of course he's just going to go out and say it.
But the question I have for you is, what independent beer would have a better brand than BrewDog?
Oh, which brand of independent beer sort of thing? From an international standpoint?
Yeah.
Oh, look, you'd have a few. There'd be probably Brooklyn. I'd probably throw in there Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
You can get globally, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, I think if I would have thought a couple of years ago, kind of internationally recognized craft beer brands, it would be sort of Stone, Ballast Point, McKellar, maybe. But then you think about BrewDog, and BrewDog are bigger than all of those. And Stone and Ballast Point are no longer independent. Oh, I guess Ballast Point probably are.
Ballast Point. No, what is it? I don't know. It's Constellation, isn't it? Or do they sell
yeah.
it? Oh no, they sold it.
Yeah, but none of those are. BrewDog's bigger than all of those, aren't they?
Yeah, so they say.
Well, what would you say? Like, who is Brooklyn are not bigger than BrewDog? I don't think. I feel like if Brooklyn opened a brew
What about
pub
Sam Adams?
If you think about, like, I don't know how they determine like biggest brands, but like if you think about if any of these companies came to Australia and opened a brew pub right in the middle of the valley, which one would have people coming in that more so than BrewDog? Out of any brand in the world, that's an independent brand, it's probably right.
Oh, it's no denying it's got that recognition.
I
brewed a beer with them on Monday.
You are?
Yeah.
What beer are you brewing?
With the Froth Rookies.
Oh, yes, that's right. Nice.
We're doing the beer for Collab Fest. It's coming up in October.
Very good.
Can't tell you what it is though.
This podcast had an active role in building the bridge between you and BrewDog, didn't it? Really?
There was never any valley that needed to be crossed. But yes, I'm grateful for the for having Damien knock on my fucking door randomly on a Tuesday afternoon.
Muscle you around a bit, chest bump you.
In my own house. Yeah, sure. It was great. Thanks. But no, it's good. It was. You're right though. If it wasn't for that, then we would never have had that conversation about the Froth Rookies doing that beer. So it's awesome. Look forward to it.
All right. I just checked in on the comments on the group. So
yeah,
Matthew. So Daniel Pinto, who is the proud winner of the Dan Norris signature.
I hope he's wearing that shirt.
The other week.
Or
congrats on your shirt that you're wearing, by the way. It looks good.
It's good, eh?
Better Beer is Great Northern for who wants to be crafty, but doesn't like craft beer. No competition to real craft breweries. Probably pretty true.
Well, I think it's a fair point, but I think they're gonna. I think you're right. I think they'll take a lot of Pacific Ale taps.
Yep. Matthew Bennett, Sapporo pub with stone and anchor. No.
That's funny.
Daniel Pinto.
Oh, Adam Shell. Adam Shell's
did
on
in
there.
The craft brewery industry what Starbucks did for coffee and Macca's did for burgers. Yeah.
Oh, so it was Adam Shell who dropped off the harpy to you?
It was?
Yeah, that's what he said in the comments.
Oh, and he didn't give you any. Sucked in. No. He's your mate, isn't he? He was. Thanks, Adam Shell. I love that. All right. The next one on the agenda is your CUB field trip. What was that about?
Oh my God. I had the best time. I've wanted to go to that brewery for ages, absolute ages. And Kate, who's my teaching partner, she used to work there in the lab and that sort of thing. And I just said, hey, it'd be good to do, just off the cuff, say, hey, it'd be good to do a field trip and that sort of thing. And the last week she emails and said, right, we're doing a field trip to CUB at Yatala next Tuesday. And I'm like, shit, I've got so much on, but I am not missing this. And so, yeah, we took the current full-time group out to CUB at Yatala, and they're like in their 5th or 6th week or something like that. And I'm just pumped to be there because I've just been hanging to see that brewery for ages. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Just the sheer scale.
This is the old Foster's Brewery, isn't it?
It's the original Powers Brewery.
Sorry, Powers, yeah.
Powers Brewery.
Yeah.
That was built in the 80s when Bernie Power and before the recession that we had to have and all the heady days of, was thinking about it. I was telling the students, this was originally the Powers Brewery, and it was at the same time Bernie Power. I don't know how did he make his money?
He had hotels up in North Queensland, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then it was the same time as Alan Bond, who made his money, was at property and mining and stuff like that.
Yeah, and fraud.
And fraud, yeah.
I went to school with Bernie Power's son.
Okay.
So when all that happened, I was.
Did you get free beer?
I don't think so. No, I think by the time, because it was high school, I think by the time it had all happened, they'd sold, and Powers had just become a beer you could get for like $25 for a 30 pack, and you'd kind of buy it to take it over to Stratty. But at the time, they had a very nice house. I know that much. A very nice house.
Yes, I can imagine.
I remember they had like the carts going through the city and shit, like the marketing stunts and whatnot. And
yeah, right. It's interesting. So Bernie Power built his brewery in Yatala, which was in the middle of nowhere at the time. And at the same time that Alan Bond had bought Castlemaine Perkins.
Yeah.
And that was Bond Brewing. So, back in the days there, it was only the really rich people who could build a brewery as a folly project because they thought that the beer you needed to produce was identical to the stuff that was already out there.
Well, but also these were beers that
pre sort of a craft beer revolution in Australia.
Yeah, but these were products that were designed to compete with these massive products. It wasn't, there was nothing craft about them.
Exactly. Yeah. It wasn't. The skills didn't really exist, and the consumer didn't exist. So
yeah.
And anyway, so we went in there and we sort of followed the whole thing right the way through the process from top to bottom, and had a look at the labs and all that sort of thing. And oh man, can I show you a picture of the brew house? I've got to show you this.
How much beer do they make there, Hendo?
That's an excellent question. So the brew house is it's a 1,500. It's a 10 vessel, 1,500 hectoliter brew house.
That's okay.
Right. So
1,500. Yeah. Okay. So the biggest craft one would be
10 vessel.
Is that 10 times the size of Moondog?
Well,
what's the biggest craft independent sort of brew house? 150 heck?
Yeah, it'd be something like that.
Yeah. So I think
Stone and Wood's got dueling 50s.
So it's 10 times the size of a Bolter or a Stone and Wood.
I think Bolter's running 100 now, aren't they?
Yeah. So 100 plus.
Here we go. Let me show you the picture. Let me show you the picture. I'll show the picture to everybody who's watching the live as well. There we are yesterday. That's the brew house.
Right? So are you up or is it down?
Well, so basically those vessels drop down through that floor another 6 or 7 meters.
Yeah, but did you go up to this level or?
Yeah, well, that's me standing in the middle there.
No, I know, but is it like dug down into the ground? Because isn't the 4X one like on ground level, but like the tanks are like lower than the ground?
No. This is the brew house though.
I know.
Right. So that's basically outside. And so we had to walk up 4 flights of stairs to get up to this level here.
Yeah, right.
And so it's really difficult to tell. So you see those 2 chimney stacks right at the end on either side. There's the big one in the middle. That's one of the lauder tons. Right. So over the far end down there, you can see the mills and the grist drops in. So there's 2 mash tons.
Nice.
Right. That's a lauder ton. That's about maybe 10 or 12 meters across. And there's 2 of those. There's one behind that one. And then these 2 ones here, the next one after the lauder ton, they're wort receivers. The next 2 are kettles, and the ones we're standing next to are whirlpools.
Nice.
Right. So 1,500 hectoliter brew house, but they can run 2 turns simultaneously. Absolutely phenomenal. And so
it looks very nice and clean. There might be a filter you've applied to the
spotless. It was spotless. That's why I floated my boat. It was just absolutely. You know why it's spotless?
Because no one uses it.
No one goes in there.
Yeah.
It's operated from a fucking control room 100 meters away. So funny. Anyway, so the fermenters are 3,000 hectoliters, and I counted about 16 or 20.
They're
or
all
so.
outdoors?
All outdoors, of course.
Yeah.
They were massive. We sort of went through the where they had a couple of four centrifuges, and a whole bunch of stuff with clarification and PVPV stuff that I didn't understand. And
so wait, so it's 3. So they just double brew into one tank.
That's it. Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? That's a big brew house to fermenter ratio, isn't it? Compared to what most breweries do.
Yeah, but don't forget as well, they high gravity brew. So it might be a 3,000 hectoliter fermenter, but then they're going to dilute post fermentation.
Oh, they do
it
post ferment, so they'll get probably another 20% or
maybe a bit more than that.
Yeah.
Right. And so just some amazing kit, right? They had in the area where they do add all the tetra hop and all that sort of stuff, and they had alkalizers, but they were real time measuring as the product goes by. You look at that and you go, fuck, it's a fucking $150,000 machine.
Yeah.
It's 2 of them. And you go into the labs and they've got the alkalizers in there, like the really expensive $90,000 one. And there's like 4 of them in the room. And HPLCs, $150,000 HPLC, just all sorts of crazy stuff,
What does the room look like when it's an automated brew house, but they have the shit on the wall where they're watching it and shit, right?
Yeah, that's right. So
what does that room look like?
Oh, it's basically an office.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of...
How big is it?
It's probably the same as Chair Force 1.
Yeah, right.
That's it. It's just 4 guys sitting in a room and they're just doing controls and stuff like that. They're running brew house, or they're bloody, running CIP or transfer or something.
Is there any reason why, and I'm interrupting your story, but answer me this because we're on this topic. Is there any reason, because brands like Bolter, right, they're going to be made out of facilities like this. And the brands that got sold will all ultimately get made out of facilities like this.
I suppose, yeah.
Is there any reason why the beer wouldn't be just better than, being made in that condition?
The beer that comes out of Yatala, as far as a quality perspective goes, before everyone gets all Haiti in the comments and stuff like that, right? There's the difference between quality and value. You might not value the beers. You might not think much of the beers that come out of there, but the quality is absolutely phenomenal. So they have a...
Yes, but my question is not about the quality of the beer. My question is, if they make beers like the kind of beers that the craft brewers are brewing and make, like if they make hazies and Bolter XPA and Stonewood Pacific Ale, are those sort of a limited release Bolter hazy? They make those out of that facility. What's that coming out like?
I don't know if they could do it. I did discuss with the CUB crew about getting involved with Great Northern New England IPA.
Okay. Okay. No, it's a serious question.
And you're going to need a really big fucking dry hopping shirt, right? I don't think that they could do it. Could they pick up? So to answer your question, and not being facetious anymore, to answer your question, could they brew, say, Bolter XPA there? Probably not.
Well, I think they brew Bolter XPA in Abbotsford now.
No, they don't.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I think they do.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe Abbotsford. I don't think they could do that at Yatala.
Yeah.
How would you dry hop a fucking 3,000 hectoliter tank?
Pump the shit in there, put it on the red flannel and press a button.
Yeah, but okay, so you got a 3,000 hectoliter tank, right? So it's a 300,000 liter tank. Okay.
But they make Coopers.
All right, so it's a 300,000. I'm just going to get my calculator out here, right? It's a 300,000 liter tank. So 300,000 liters times, let's say it's 3 grams a liter dry hop, just something just to puff, right? That's that's 900 kilos of dry hop that needs to go in to one tank.
They've figured out bigger problems than that, I'm pretty sure.
I did see IBCs, 1,000 litre IBCs full of Tetra hop.
Oh, nice.
Like dozens of them. It was insane. I was like, fuck.
But I think it's
the
a valid
scale.
question, because if you think about it, like I know in America, like they've got breweries that are massive. I don't think that big. I'm just trying to think how big Stone and Ballast Point were. I don't, or the Fort Collins one. I don't think they were that big, but
no,
they got some very big breweries making some very good beer.
It's okay. Got Pinto says dry hop done with a helicopter. Drone it. Sean says definitely not 5 kilos at a time on top of a scissor lift.
No,
that's how you're gonna do a fucking big scissor lift.
Sean's on. We got Future Magic on the agenda. I should ask him some questions. I got some questions after reading the offer document.
It's big. You're gonna have, if you're gonna do something like that, a big tank. You're gonna have a big giant hop egg. So you're gonna have a vessel. You're gonna fill it up with hops. You're gonna purge it. You'll run some beer in. You'll pump it back in to the tank.
Yeah,
that's how you dry hop with it on that scale. So yeah. So, but they're like, okay, so massive brew house, massive tanks, lots of centrifuges. Went into one of the packaging halls. And so, and they're doing cans, and the canning line, can filler must have been at least 60 or 70 heads. It was just fucking motoring, right? Absolutely motoring. And they were literally doing a box a second.
Nice.
Right?
Any people to be seen in that room?
Fuck all people. Fuck all people. Didn't see one hose, no hoses in the whole place.
Yeah. That's nice.
And oh yeah, one less thing to worry about. And what else is there? Oh, and they have the TV, like they had the OFS kind of thing up there and that sort of thing. And so in that shift, we were there. So it was like, we're there at like a 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're like three or 4 hours in the shift, and they'd done. That was a 12-hour shift, and they had already done 350,000 cans.
Did they give you? Was there anyone there to give you one off the line?
I haven't finished yet.
Okay.
That was one of the 4 canning lines at Yatla, and that was the slow one.
Jesus Christ!
How phenomenal is that?
So this is how big is this brewery on the scale of CEB's national kind of breweries? It's their biggest.
I don't know, to be honest, if it's their biggest. Don't know.
What are they making there? Great Northern,
BB, a bit of Cascade. They do the alcohol free. I think they used to do Miller. They may still do Miller. I had some VB out of the Bright Tank.
Oh, that's cool. So did they give you any cans off the line?
Unpasteurized? No, you're not allowed to do that.
No, that's fair.
So some unpasteurized VB out of the Bright Tank.
What'd that taste like?
Good. You could taste malt and hops and shit in it. Pasteurization just does so much damage, to the beer.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever tried the Carlton Draft tank beer? Have it in those tanks? Like
seems like bullshit. No, I haven't.
Basically, it's unpasteurized.
Why is it unpasteurized?
Well, that's the selling point. Brewery fresh, unpasteurized.
Is it actually though?
Never really thought about that.
That's got to be bullshit. 100%. As if they would just have a small amount of the beer that's unpasteurized.
Yeah. But the thing that blows me away, right, is they call it the Asahi way, right? Let's talk about the quality, right? They're smashing out these phenomenal amounts of piss, right? Absolutely mind-boggling. Even for me, and I walking in there and just being blown away at the scale of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they've got a complaints per hectoliter target.
Complaints from who?
Just general complaints, right?
Oh, wow.
You got a complaints register at yours. So you know how many complaints you get versus how many liters of beer you produce.
That's a good thing. I don't actually think we track that metric. I do look at the complaints.
Very important. That's a very important KPI.
Yeah.
So they measure their target complaints is 5 parts per million per hectoliter.
But who the fuck buys a VB and says it doesn't taste good?
you'd be surprised. So,
And if they do say it doesn't taste good, is that a complaint
Emma-
or is that just an
Emma was
analysis?
taking us. The lady who was taking us through the brewery. She said, "Yeah, we get complaints. Like it's like someone who's left stubbies of Great Northern stubbies in the esky overnight, and the fucking crowns have gone all rusty, and they're going, oh, the fucking crown's all rusty."
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a meaningful metric.
As far as like legitimate complaints and that sort of thing goes, 5 parts per million per hectoliter. That's their complaints. Right? So that is 5 complaints per million liters of beer.
Right. And that to me sounds like a call to action for our audience. Go onto the quality page for CUB and complain about BB after listening to this podcast, and we're going to fuck this statistic right up.
Wonder what yours is, out of curiosity.
Yeah. I just think, like, if you think about these metrics, you really need to think about how practical they are. Like, how valuable is a complaint about VB?
Okay, so this is why it's really important for you to think about it this way, right? Drink a lot of craft beer, okay? And there are some breweries that you gravitate towards more than others because you find their beers better, more consistent, and all that sort of thing. I know I do, right? A lot of people who aren't really, into beer the same way that you and I are would just drink the beer and go, oh, I like that, I don't like that, or something wrong with that beer, and that sort of thing, right? And we drink a lot of craft beer from a lot of different breweries, and I've had some really good ones, and I've had some really shit ones, right? And so if you think about all your bad craft beer experiences,
yeah,
right, oxidized this, diacetyl bomb that, infected fucking this, it happens a lot in craft beer, right?
Yeah, because the beer.
You ever had a VB?
I have had a VB, yes.
Right. Ever had a diacetyl bomb one?
Every single VB I've ever had tasted like shit.
In what way?
It was just gross. I don't enjoy it. I should complain.
But that's your opinion. That's
I
your
know, you
value.
just asked me my opinion.
Okay, but ever had a faulty one?
Well, I'm a VB drinker. I don't know what a beer fault is. I know it wasn't good. Complain about it.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying it, just like for the amount of beer that they produce.
VB drinkers aren't reporting beer faults. VB drinkers aren't drinking a beer and logging onto their website and saying this one has a hint of diacetyl. That's my point.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know why they're not?
Because they don't know what the fuck diacetyl is. No. Every single Great Northern drinker drinks a fucking light struck beer. If every single Great Northern drinker complained about
it's not light
the
struck
quality, there'd be a million, but there's not, because the Great Northern drinkers don't complain about beer.
It's Tetra Hop in Great Northern. It can't be light struck.
Okay, fair enough.
In fact, there's a test that they do on the beer. Oh my God, this is the thing that blew me away. We're in the chemistry lab, and they actually do a test on the beers that go into clear bottles, and they've got this HPLC. Actually, it's a UHPLC, ultra high, whatever the HPLC stands for.
Not important for our listeners.
Anyway, so and so they actually they do it to measure IBUs in the beer, and they can actually break down the different types of alpha acid. And so they upgraded from the HPLC to the UHPLC. And that one is able to break out more of different types of bitterness compounds, and can even detect the bitterness compounds that are susceptible to light struck. So if there happens to be some contamination from a beer that doesn't have Tetra in it to one that does, and accidentally winds up in that beer, well, they don't want that beer to be light struck, and they can actually find out if that's going to happen.
Yeah. I bet you the customers don't tell them on the quality forms, on the complaints register.
Got very well paid people,
Well, that I'm down with. But the complaints from customers, I'm a bit dubious about that metric.
That's right, Pinto. High performance liquid chromatography. Thank you.
Oh, that's a nice
so
phrase.
So it's a chromatograph, right? And this is the thing, man, is that this is the thing that craft brewers need to understand, is that as far as your objectives, as far as your beer quality goes, should be as good as those big mega breweries. Can't afford to get there, right? because it's really fucking expensive and they're really well-paid people and there's a lot of really expensive equipment, that sort of thing. That's the direction that you got to go.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
100%.
And you've got to measure that shit. Right. And if you in your business, if you don't have number of complaints per hectoliter produced, you should have that.
Yeah, but I know how many hectoliters we produce, and I
into...
see every single complaint that is ever made about our products. Yeah, I
and
don't
so,
know that.
And so
number,
you should be charting that over time.
Yeah.
Because what you should see, at the very least, what you should see is your production volume go up, but the number of complaints stay consistent.
Yeah.
And therefore, the complaints per hectoliter is actually dropping.
I love stats. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I love stats as much as you do, but that's a questionable metric. If you're relying on customers to give you, I feel like this is going to get misinterpreted. If you're relying on customers to complain about something to work out if the beer quality is up to standard, that's messy as all shit. Like we, for example, I would see lots more complaints about our beer than I would if we didn't have a super active Facebook group with 3,000 people in it that are regularly talking about the beer. And if someone posts something in there saying, oh, this beer is not amazing, we'd take a screenshot of it or put it into the channel, and that would go down as a complaint. What if you had a brewery that just had a form on the website that you have to fill in if someone's got a bad beer? It would never, ever get filled in. And the stats would be chalk and cheese and would be completely meaningless. So like a stat like that, I think, is not super reliable, although I get the intent that it's something that would be worth tracking, but it doesn't seem reliable to me.
Maybe there's some sort of criteria about what constitutes a complaint.
Well, that's the other thing is what is a complaint? Like what would you have to taste in a Great Northern to get you to make a complaint?
Yeah, exactly. Interesting metric.
It is interesting.
Anyway, that was a lot of fun.
So my question about if they could make the kinds of beers that are sort of the craftiest sort of craft beers, your answer was that, like the big hazier sort of ones, maybe not. But what about other? Forget hazy ones, but what about the XPA? Like I suppose Pacific Ale is a perfect example. Like they're either going to build a massive brewery in Byron Bay, or they're going to brew pack ale at one of these breweries, right?
Do you mean Pacific Ale specifically?
Yes, specifically. Specifically, I mean Pacific Ale.
Well, they're building another brewery in Stonewwood's building another brewery in Merba. They bought the land.
Well, they already own the land before the sale.
Yeah, that's right. And it was already underway. The project was already underway.
Well, not really.
In its sort of
wasn't really underway.
Well, it's in its sort of feasibility study and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And they had a lot of growth to go in the existing site.
Oh,
but,
do you think so?
Oh, absolutely. They only have two 800 hectoliter tanks. They got room for 12.
Yeah. Okay.
They got plenty of room to grow.
Outside.
Yeah, outside.
Yeah. Well, why were they talking about building a new brewery if they could 6x production?
Because it's a 5 to 10 year plan.
Yeah.
You don't just your next brewery, right? It's not going to be a 12 to 24 month project, mate. It's going to be a fucking 5-year project.
No, but if it was a 5 to 10 year plan, they wouldn't have sold after announcing a new brewery. Something doesn't add up in all of that. Anyway, the point is, let's say everything goes according to what you've been told, which is not the history of what ended up happening with Stonewood, if we're completely honest.
Yeah.
And that's one option. They build a massive brewery in Byron Bay, and that's sweet. But let's say they don't do that. Let's say they don't do that, and they have to brew this down at Geelong.
Sure.
Looking at a brewery like that, do you think it would be the same, right? Like they would be able to brew that.
Oh, they could brew Pacific Ale at Creatures in Geelong, no problem.
Yeah, and it'd be way cheaper. Probably it's pasteurized anyway, right? It'd be just as good.
Sure.
Way cheaper.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So why do we have craft breweries then?
I don't know. Maybe we should quit.
That's kind of where I'm getting at. Okay.
Oh, are we retiring?
100%. I'm getting a beer before we quit. Okay.
What am I going to do now? Okay, talk to me on the chat in the Facebook chat thing. So I know Pinto's there and Sean's there and that sort of thing. So if you've got something funny to say it. It's probably a delay anyway. So by the time Dan gets back,
I'm here.
how's the Dainton going?
Pretty good. The guy who's doing the project has gone away for 2 weeks. I haven't heard anything, but they did give me a date, and the date is 2 days after my lease runs out here, which is the 8th of October.
Fuck.
So it's effectively two months away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for those 2 days? Sleep at the brewery?
Well, that's the thing. It's not a fixed date. It could be before, it could be after. I'm gonna have to move out of here either way. Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't know. I feel a bit weird about it. I feel like I don't even fully know if I really want to move into the house. It's weird. It's a weird feeling.
What are you going to do?
Don't know. Maybe sell it. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's the Dainton. You just built it.
Dainton. I don't like finishing projects. I like being busy in projects.
Stephen Kegel says stay at Hendo's field trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got room for even Elon.
2-day field trip.
Let alone you and the boys.
This one hasn't been released, and since we can't talk about beers that haven't been released, I'm not going to say what it is. But this beer is a beer, Black Ops beer. It's an international collab done for International IPA Day. From one of
Is it a Black Ops beer?
Yeah, one of our brewers who went overseas.
Yeah.
And we collabed with the brewery he ended up at. And one of our sales guys is over there, and distro guys is over there at the moment, catching up with them and produce this collab beer.
Yeah, right.
So it'll come out on International IPA Day. So I know about this one. So that's nice.
Hey, do you know who brewed our
No, I didn't even know what happened in that.
Yeah, but I know who brewed it.
Okay.
Who do you think brewed it?
You have to give me some hints. We have a lot of brewers.
Well, he's known as the steward.
Oh, there we go. I was going to say Stu. I was going to say Stu or Bill, but okay, good.
Stu the steward.
So Stu,
at the very least,
the beer. You didn't get invited. I didn't get invited.
No. So at the very least, since you're the fucking CEO of the company,
yeah,
and this is going into a can, isn't it?
100%. What, our beer?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. The can's done.
Right. Great. Good. Can we go to the fucking canning day?
If I get told about it and I know when it's happening, that'd be great.
Just pick up the fucking phone.
That's
you're
a good point.
You're the CEO of the company.
That's a fair point.
Right. And
I've had absolutely zero involvement in this whole
about
collab.
I don't even know how they got the recipe. I mean, it's not a difficult recipe because it's just one fucking type of malt, and make sure it's 1.2 standos, and that's it.
I assume Lara wrote the recipe. I don't know. I don't ask any questions.
It's got the right yeast in it.
Good. What about so the malt wasn't a problem? Obviously
not.
No.
So something's happened, eh? It's like there's just been some mental telepathy. You sure you didn't have a fucking meeting with Eddie or something about this? Or
I'm very sure. Very sure.
How the fuck did this happen?
Well, maybe it was because maybe he listens to the podcast.
Who, Eddie?
And then maybe he was like, "Oh shit, we got to get it in before the Indies." That's all I can.
Sick.
Assume.
Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah. Well, I've been away for the last few weeks. So wait, when was the brew day?
Oh yeah, let me have a look. 29th of July.
Okay. Yeah, I've been away for 2 weeks. So still, it would have been nice to know.
I don't know what these numbers mean. 976, 670. There's a Plato there.
Yeah.
The pH and shit.
Well, at what point can we reveal our can design label?
Well, I suppose maybe what we could do, so this is a BH2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So what we can do is maybe some of the 12 would like to come to the canning day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that doable?
Yeah, but that's doable.
and maybe we can drink it at the Black Ops 2.
How about this? How about we allow 12 people to come to the canning day and they
Yes.
all get one can each?
One stando each.
One stando.
And
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Why not?
I like that.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
I'm keen. I'll put it in my task list here to
Find
when
out.
I get back to bring this up.
Absolutely. I'm pretty excited about this.
Well, I do have to say sorry. That's pretty shitty.
Yeah, that's all right.
We
Should
should
make it up
have
if we
been
go
there
to the
and brewed
canning.
Make
it up when
I
we go
know
to the canning.
in the defense of whoever made the decision, I know the way the schedule works is it's kind of all planned well ahead of time. And that particular beer, every time it came up, like we had like the black tap blackout down the weekend, right?
Yep.
And it would come up in the conversations like, okay, well, we got this beer coming up, but we need one more beer for the tap blackout. And I was always like, all right, we'll push that back. Don't hate me, but this you do have to prioritize things. So I assume what happened was a slot came up.
Yes.
And they were like, fuck it, it's been pushed back 5 times. Let's send it.
Sure.
It's not good enough, but I assume that's what happened.
No, but it's good hustle. I love it.
Yeah. All right. God, we got a lot more to go. We got any fun comments or not really? Put me down.
Put me down. Okay.
Does he mean he's coming, or does he mean he wants the like euthanasia?
I don't know. Could be both.
Okay. All right. So
what he got?
Stalwart Brewing liquidation. That was one of the. Everyone likes a liquidation story, so that one's.
Let's have a look here. Stalwart Brewing liquidation. Why does that name ring a bell?
It definitely did not ring a bell to me. I have never heard of this.
I'm just googling it. Stalwart Brewing. Stalwart Brewing in Nambour. Let's have a look at their website here. Website's still going. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe I'll just have to look at some Google images, see if I can see some of their beers.
Company traded brewery, Nambour.
Oh, I know this brewery. Oh, okay.
Contract brand. Yeah.
No, it's not a contract brand. They
had
had
started as a contract brand.
They did, but they had a brew pub in Nambour, which is where my late father is from. So this is the brewery that did the beers with the Aboriginal guy and the American Indian and that sort of thing on the tap decal.
Okay.
Would you like to see that on your screen?
Share the screen.
One moment, madam.
Experienced some early success with only limited pandemic impacts at the time.
Here you go. Have a look at this. That.
Okay. Whoa, interesting.
So I remember they got in a lot of trouble for having
Who's that cat over there on the right there?
I don't know. The courageous captain, it says.
That's not Captain Cook, surely.
Don't know. And then you got an Aboriginal guy, the Dreamtime Warrior, and then you've got the Sacred Chief, the American Indian. I remember they got in trouble over the American Indian one. Putting Aboriginal person on a alcohol
not a good idea. Not a good idea to have Captain Cook next to an Aboriginal person. That wasn't actually Captain Cook, was it?
There you go.
I don't know what Captain Cook looked like, but
yeah, I just think that's not really cool. Anyway, and it's a bit of a shame that they went under there and that sort of thing. Maybe Nambour just wasn't ready.
A brew pub.
Yeah, at the Club Hotel in Nambour. Maybe Nambour just wasn't ready. Maybe if you put amphetamines in the beer, it might be ready.
Okay. I'm not going to touch that. Was Nambour where the Your Mates guys used to? You remember when they started?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. They had the tap room in Nambour.
Love the fucking Nambour. I've never been to Nambour.
Well, I don't know, but it was ready for Your Mates. But Your Mates outgrew Nambour.
Right. Well, that happened, and so that's the story. It's not a whole lot to read into that. There is. Right. Australian National Homebrew Conference.
Oh, sick! Yeah, I'm speaking at that.
Okay, I thought you might have some knowledge of this. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so ANHC, and yeah, super excited. It's in
October 14th and 15th.
Yeah, it's in October or 14th and 15th.
Yep.
if you're a home brewer, I highly recommend getting tickets to this. I think it's $495 for a 2-day ticket. And lots of cool stuff. Lots of really cool speakers. Scott Janish is going to be there. If you don't know who Scott Janish is, he's basically literally wrote the book on Hoppy Hazy IPA.
Is it called the new IPA?
That's the one. Yes.
All right.
So he wrote that book and goes deep into the science of hops and haze and all that sort of stuff. Absolutely amazing. Chris White from White Labs is going to be there. Derek Lacey from Bluestone Yeast is going to be speaking.
Nice.
Who else is going to be there?
We've got the
Me.
Braden Jones. Oh, sorry. Yep, you.
Me. Let me just pull up a website.
Brandon Jones, co-founder of largest independently owned professional wild beer program in Southern USA.
I've not heard of him, but I don't really get into that sort
Beer
of thing.
diva, Kiralee Waldhorn.
Oh, Kiralee going to be there. Yeah. Stu Whitecross. Where's he from? Voyager Craft Malt. Excellent. Dan Rayner, who's an absolute top bloke from Benspoke.
Oh God, this sounds fucking hectic. Club Night 2022 will go ahead too, where the home brewers and home brewing clubs of Australia celebrate as only home brewers can, with over 50 kegs of beer and a party atmosphere to match.
Oh my God, yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. Club Night, it's just fucking wild. I'm not joking.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
So how it works, right, is all of the homebrew clubs around Australia, they set up, it's like a Gabs, but for homebrewing, right? And all of the clubs set up a stand and they have all their beers on tap.
That's cool.
And
like their best beers from the club's year or whatever. Or
yeah, it's just like beers they're really proud of or styles they're really proud of. Them. The judging for the AABC, Australian Amateur Brewing Competition's on the day before. And I think the winners are announced at Club Night. And so they have this thing where there's like this, each of the homebrew clubs gets introduced and all of the people come in and they might be wearing costumes or something like that.
Well, they do like a walkout type.
No, it's a walk-in.
Yeah, but like in like the UFC and boxing, they do like
exactly.
Like that kind of
thing.
Exactly
like that. Sorry.
Yeah. They call it a walkout, but now that you say that, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Right.
So they come out, they're wearing costumes. It's fucking hilarious. And you just laugh so much. And bunch of good people, really, really good people. It's amazing. Yeah.
What are you doing at it? What's your job?
I am speaking about water chemistry.
Nice.
One of my favorite topics. Those who know me really well know that I love water chemistry and I love demystifying it. And that's actually what my talk is called. It's called Brewing Water Chemistry Demystified.
Is it like mist as in like mist, like from the water?
No, demystified as in a mystery.
Oh, M-Y. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I feel like there's an opportunity there for a pun.
Sake, Dan.
I don't know if you missed it. I don't know if you missed it. Okay. All right, next topic. Crowdfunding update. So we got Dainton, whose webinar is tomorrow, and I'm hooked onto that, so I'll tune into that if I'm free, and I'll check that out. 3 Ravens, I haven't actually checked, but I think the EOI is just still happening. Now, Future Magic, which opened today at 12 o'clock.
Yes. I had the, what's it called? What's the name of the document? Offer document. Yeah, I had that land in my laptop.
I'm going to refresh their crowdfunding right now. When I checked earlier on today, after a couple
really?
of hours,
you can see it live?
Oh yeah, it was $45,000. It's now $63,000 they've raised.
So the minimum is 200, isn't it?
Yeah, 63,000 from 55 investors. Minimum 200.
How do I
maximum
find that
800.
page?
What's that?
How do I find that page?
Well, this is the kind of slightly uncomfortable thing about how this whole thing works is I went on there this morning and realized I'd chosen to follow the thing, but I didn't do the EOI because I don't want to invest because I'm not an investor. So I had to click a thing saying I need to be granted access to see.
Yeah, it says here, Future Magic has made their profile private. I'm not logged in. I don't have a virtual account. To view their profile and any offers they may be running, request an invitation by hitting the request invite button.
So I
can't
requested
see
that,
it.
and about 2 hours later, I got the invite, and then I clicked on it. Now I can see all the information. But if I
Right.
didn't do any of that, I don't think I would even be able to see the offer document. Can you see the offer
Rightio.
document?
I can, because I had it sent to me.
But on that page there, if you were just to go there,
I can't even see the page.
No. Okay.
It's all blurry. It just says that little window, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if I love that. Anyway, I do have the offer document, and I had a look at it. Did you have a look at it?
Yes, I did. So my understanding is minimum of 200, maximum of 800K.
Yeah.
Which is 7% to 23% of the business. What does that make the valuation of the business? $1 a share?
2.7 million the valuation. The valuation is listed on the
Wrong fucking job.
investor page.
Sorry, did I say that? I think that.
What did you say?
No, I was fucking wrong. I'm in the wrong fucking job.
Wrong job. Yeah, no, that's fair.
But 2.7 million is the minimum or the maximum?
No, that's it. That's the valuation. That's pre-money valuation. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I wrote down a few notes. Do you have notes, or do you want me to go through mine?
Nah, you give me your notes.
All right. Couple things. Well, first of all, and I'm being completely objective because Sean's on the call, and like we said last time, I think it's fucking cool that they're putting themselves out there and they're having a crack at this. And
Absolutely,
it's a fucking terrifying thing to do.
Fucking
doesn't seem to be going that well.
How long is the thing open for?
It's open for 15 days, but like if you kind of want a bit of steam after doing an EOI, and I guess this is different. Like they're building an audience. It's probably different to a normal one, but I would assume they would want more than 63 grand on the first night. I don't know. We could get him on. We could get him on halfway through and ask him. The valuation to me. The valuation to me seems pretty high.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in consideration that the value, I mean, I did some numbers on the only bit of debt was their lease on the plant equipment. And that was 350 grand over 5 years. So it's a lease, 30%.
Well, that equipment deal, I had that written down as well. That's not fun. Barrel logistics is not, that's like a kind of,
they're not nice people.
No, that's like a kind of last resort debt facility, which we did at one point as well at the start with our canning line, but to get all of your equipment on that deal, that's
high interest, high risk debt. But that's what you are when you're just starting out. So
well, the other thing was that I thought was, and again, we could just get him on because he's one of the 12.
What, do you want me to send him a link to the show?
What do you mean?
Like, you want me to send him the Zoom link?
Yeah, fuck yeah, get him on right now. Yeah, we could get him on right now.
Okay, let me see if he's keen.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You never know. Where are you?
In the interest of keeping us, well, I gotta go to the toilet. I'm gonna go to the toilet.
All right. Oh, what am I gonna do?
Talk amongst yourself.
Okay. I'll just drop him a message and I'll drop him the Zoom link. There we go. Hop on the show. Come on, don't leave me on read, man. Don't leave me on read, Sean. Let's see if he pops on the show. You never know, you're like in a big city. We could have a first impromptu guest. We're live on Facebook. Let me read some of the Facebook comments. Luke Miller, put me down. Done. Louis G, waving, of course. 3 Ravens is valued at $10 million, Damien. Whoa. Okay, that's interesting. Will Dan help fix the scooter up? That depends if I actually get to fixing the scooter up. Who else got there? Oh, Phil, how are you, mate? He hasn't read my message yet.
That's fair. I heard a term on the F1 the other night, comfort break. Is that a phrase?
Yeah, that's an old term.
Yeah, it seemed like, because they're old people commentating the F1. Right, I'm
Can
going to
take
use
a
that
comfort.
next time.
Some of the drivers actually take a comfort break in
No,
their suit.
Mattia Bonotto like disappeared with 5 minutes to go on the telecast, and they were
Yes,
like,
that's
"Wait, what
right.
the fuck is he doing? Is he leaving?" He's like, "No, he's just taking
No,
a
it's
comfort break." Because he came
Comfort
back.
break.
Did you watch it? Oh, have you seen
Yeah.
the updates in the last 24 hours with F1?
Yes. Yeah, Piastro.
Piastri. I think Ricardo.
Piastri, sorry.
Ricardo's. My theory is Ricardo's gone.
I reckon you might be right. Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not.
He might go back to Alpine.
No, because Mazepin has got the drive at Alpine.
Oh, what?
Yes. So the Russian guy that they
That's been banned from the sport
because he's Russian, which is kind of shit.
Mazepin.
Mazepin. He was also a shit driver. There's that.
Yeah.
He's got the drive because I think he was rich. He had money. He's got the drive at Alpine. Alonso, through the opportunity of Vettel leaving to let a young driver take over
He's going
in
to
his
Aston
place,
Martin.
the 50-year-old Fernando Alonso goes to Aston Martin. And
wow.
And Alpine announced that Oscar Piastri is their driver for next year. He goes on his Instagram and says, actually, no, I'm not.
No,
I'm not driving you for next year.
You know who his manager is?
Mark Webber.
Mark Webber, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that Mark Webber was a driver manager.
Did not either until I read that today.
Until Oscar Piastri, exactly.
Yeah. So Ricardo replaced Webber.
Yes.
At Red Bull. And who's both Aussie, if you don't listen to F1 or don't know these people, both Aussie, which was very cool because I got into F1 because there was an Aussie in F1.
Yes.
And then stayed in F1 because there was an Aussie replacing the Aussie. And now Piastri's obviously got to drive next year. Otherwise, he wouldn't emphatically say, I'm not driving for Alpine. So where is he driving next year?
It's either McLaren or Williams.
Yeah. But what you drive for Alpine before you drive for Williams? Williams are by far the worst car on the grid. You're not going to take a Williams drive over Alpine. It's got to be McLaren. So he's going to replace that Australian, and he's also Australian, which is weird but cool.
Well, if Mazepin is going to Alpine, and I can't believe that Alpine have fixed that up so quickly. They've unfucked that situation that they just got. Hey, Mazepin, you got some money, cool.
It's so strange. The whole thing is so strange.
They took Mazepin because he's cheap. It's Alpine. They're just cheap.
Well, the thing is, they couldn't get Ricardo because Ricardo it's a Renault team, so Ricardo used to drive for them. So he might be.
I think Sean's seen my message, so he might pop on in a second.
Right, it's creepy how you can see if people have seen your message. I don't believe in that shitty technology.
Well,
do you give him the link? Here we go.
Yes,
no, wait, that just said live. Okay, I got excited for nothing.
Just gave him the link.
All right. What makes you think he's just going to randomly see a link when we're sitting here grilling his crowdfunding? He's going to come on.
See my message.
Right.
So you never know. Anyway, so it's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks over the summer break for Formula One.
I think it's done. I don't think there's going to be any more movement. I think Ricardo.
Well, they've got to have an announcement about Ricardo.
Yeah. What do you think he'll do? I mean, he's got to just walk into the media, wouldn't he? He's just such a legend. He just
IndyCar.
Yeah, true. He'll keep driving, won't he? He's a racer.
IndyCar 2023. He will do so well in the US. His personality. He'll crush it.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be sad though, wouldn't it? Like I thought he was just going to be. He was so good. He was so good. Bad career choice.
Like Ferrari's strategy. Fucking hell, man. Bloody Ferrari.
Are you a Ferrari fan?
I like them. I want them to do well. But they just keep getting let down by their strategy.
Yeah, that hard tire thing was so strange. It was just like all the commentators like, what the fuck are you doing?
But it's not just that. It's the hard tire thing. It was the double stacking at Monaco. It was the bloody...
it's every week.
The engine's bloody blowing up, bad tire choice. Just so much strategy shit, you know?
Not letting them overtake when it makes sense. Not having a clear number one driver, all of that. It's all weird and they should be winning this year. They should win this year.
They should have, but they won't.
Yeah. No.
It's too late for them now.
Yeah, I think it is too late. And I think the way Mercedes are going, by the end of the year, they're going to be as quick as everyone. Next year, it's going to be Mercedes and Red Bull.
Phil says, is this an F1 podcast or a shitpost podcast?
That's a very fair point.
He's right.
That's a fair point.
Oh, wait. Oh, he's in his car on the way home.
Okay.
And he says, let me know questions and I can cover when I get where I'm going. Yeah, all right. Let's talk about Future Magic.
Wait, is he listening? I hope he's not listening.
Well,
I hope he's not driving and texting you and listening to.
Listen to the live stream.
Jesus. All right.
In the car, it's like you listen to the pod. I only listen to podcasts when I'm driving.
These are the points I made, other than the things I talked about from the Future Magic one. And I don't want to be a hater because I did say I looked at their webinar. I think as like a brewery tap room, it looks fucking awesome and they'll crush it.
Yes.
2.7 million for a business that doesn't exist doesn't seem like good value to me.
No.
The phases in their plan about, we'll do the tap room and then we'll do a bigger tap room and then we'll do a second production site. That just seems, I think you need to be careful with saying this is what we're going to do when you've got no money.
Well, to your point on that, I read that and I was like, okay, so each of those next phases, right, lands you deeper and deeper in the valley of death.
Debt or equity, and already given up 10% for a small amount.
No, in the valley of death. You wrote it, but you blogged about it.
Oh, death. I thought you said debt. Yes.
The valley of death.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the valley of death is that point where now with the excise refund, it's somewhere between sort of 300-ish thousand and 1.2 million litres where you are cash flow negative and you have to get through that really, really quickly.
Yeah, I actually think it's a lot more than that. I think it's not that simple anymore at all. It's so competitive now. There's so many options.
Because the margins are much slimmer.
Yeah. And there's unlimited spend being dropped into these brands. Like the amount of the amount of airplay that brands like Better Beer and Stone and Wood and Bolter and that get, like you can't have a business like this anymore.
Do you know how you could promote the Black Hops brand?
Find out when we're brewing Boston the Brewers.
Start a podcast.
I did that. It was good. I interviewed someone today for a financial controller job, and they were like, "Yeah, I listened to a couple of podcast episodes," and I was like,
"Oh shit, cool. Which one?" That's the question you got to ask.
Yeah.
Which one? Not Field Trip.
No. The Black Ops.
Oh, the Operation Brewery one.
Yes.
Fuck, I'm on
which
that one too,
we haven't done for a long time, but there's a back catalogue.
So what do we got there with Future Magic? So the fucking that barrel logistics is
these are my notes. The barrel logistics things you're gonna have to be real careful with.
It's not
this other thing I thought was a little weird, and if Sean was on here, he could probably answer it really easily. But did you notice there was when you start a business,
all the list of shareholders,
you're basically a founder, right? But this business hasn't started yet, really. They haven't sold anything. So there's two founders that own most of it, but then there's this one guy, Axal Huskisson, who owns 1%.
Axal Huskisson.
In the balance sheet where it talks about equity, it's got $15,000, which I assume means he paid $15,000 for 1%.
Okay.
So if that's what that means, and this is not financial advice.
Yes.
I had to say that because
he's got 30,000 shares at 1%.
Yes, $15,000 he paid for them though. If you look at the
okay.
Yeah, which would be a $1.5 million valuation. So my question is, when did he invest, and is he a founder, or like why would someone have 1% before you raise money? That seems odd to me.
Let's Google him.
All right, you Google him.
Axal.
And there's another one on there who owns a percentage, but wasn't listed on that equity spot, which I didn't understand.
Axal. Griffith Film School Graduate College 2011.
This is the two other things I thought were a little odd. Revenue $153 for a year, but they had a contract brewed batch of beer. So what does that mean? Does that mean they just gave the beer away to venues? Like every beer they made?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of revenue.
$153.
Yeah.
Like zero.
So Axal Huskisson, Senior Sales Associate with Apple in the Greater Brisbane area, according to LinkedIn.
I feel like this There's a wild goose chase you're going on here, Hendo.
Hey, how common a name is that?
That's a fair point. But it's a 1% investor. I just thought it was a little odd. I don't know. It's a little odd. And then the $116,000 loss. Did I read that correctly? I hope I'm not fucking this up because I'm not good at finance.
Dude, you're CEO of a fucking multi-million litre brewery.
Well, that's why I'm hiring a financial
finance?
controller, mate. Well, tell me if I'm wrong. Have a look at it.
What am I looking at? The balance sheet or the P&L?
No, the P&L. It says operating expense $112,000, income $153.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of expenses there.
That's
consulting,
for a business that doesn't
$40,000.
exist. $40,000 in consulting.
$21,000 in advertising.
Yeah.
For a business that doesn't exist. Interesting. Where's their rent? What does that come under? Is that outgoings?
Outgoings probably, but are they like how long have they been in there?
Well, at least when the company was formed last year.
Yeah, okay.
You kind of read between the lines.
Wages and salaries. Yeah, interesting. I mean, that's
Paid.
At least it's honest, and that's the thing I like about crowdfunding. It's honest. It's
exactly.
out there.
Yeah, got to be transparent.
But if they're, I mean, if they've lost $115,000 before they start and they're mid-project and
100 what do we got? 170K in the bank.
Yeah, 170K in the bank, but yeah, I guess the equipment's on lease. It's fucking, it is. It's some real entrepreneurial shit, isn't it? It's fucking scary. It's scary what we do. This is what we do.
Fucking know.
It's fucking scary.
That's really interesting.
Anyway, those are my questions. What were yours? Do you have any? After looking at the document, or thoughts on it? What thoughts on the valuation?
Oh, look, it's a startup brewery, and I think, I'm thinking the sort of questions I'm looking at is like, okay, if they don't meet their minimum and they got 170K in the bank,
this is what it's like to start a business. You jump off the cliff and you open the parachute on the way down, and you hope it opens.
They probably might not get it done.
Yeah, it's terrible.
With 170K in the bank and the plant and equipment finance. A fucking floor is going to cost them 40 grand.
Yeah, well,
there's a $35,000 infrastructure fund from a fee from fucking Brisbane City Council because they've got more than 150 seats at their fucking thing, which I don't even think they know about.
This is what it's like when you start
the council is going to
stop talking. It's best. Sean's listening. It's best if he doesn't know.
There's so much scary shit happening.
It's so scary. I remember when we opened Black Ops, there were so many nights we just sit there and we're like, we're fucked.
That's why you wear the brown undies.
We're completely fucked. Yeah. But I will say, like when we opened, our valuation for our very first round was 800,000. And it was at a time where it seemed to me that it was pretty clear there was a lot of growth ahead for the industry. This is a valuation of 2.7 million. I don't know how much growth there is ahead. So the valuation does seem high, but then the proof is in the investment, really. We'll see what happens at the end of the round. And if they raise the money, they pick the right number. And if they don't meet the target, or at least, I mean, if they don't even meet the minimum, then the valuation was definitely too high, given who they had access to.
Yep.
Well,
I wish them good luck.
Where's that marketing spend gone? I wonder if that's, do you think that's to do with the crowdfunding?
Well, there were Facebook ads.
Yeah. No, but Birch will do those.
Someone's got to pay for it.
You pay in your 6% fee to Birch, or Birch will do all the paid ads.
Okay.
Well, in my experience, yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And Dainton webinar is tomorrow. Have we had any progress in getting the Dainton guys on, or?
Oh, no, but you can ask them in the fucking webinar tomorrow.
Okay, I will. Because that's the other thing is our episode with Sean was mentioned on his webinar and also mentioned on the virtual newsletter today, which was nice, or yesterday, or wherever the newsletter came in.
Yeah, sick. All right, well,
podcast feature.
let's get the Dainton crew on.
Oh, good. All right. Well, good luck to the future Magic guys.
Yes, absolutely.
If you want to know the answers to the question, Sean's will probably
Good luck.
in the group.
You know what? There's a lot of transparency there. It's a high risk investment. If that's your cup of tea, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like seeing the numbers. It's good.
But you're not good at numbers.
It's good. It's good to see this live, terrifying, thing of starting a business.
Fuck yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
All right. Speaking of terrifying businesses.
Oh, great. What do you got there?
Mighty Craft record quarter. I took a lot of notes when I read this news article and I looked at their quarterly report. You can see my notes there.
You love the Mighty Craft quarterly reports that come out.
It was great. And what is it's transparency? You actually see what's happening. I learned a lot from looking at this.
Because they're listed, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So what you can see.
So what have we got here? The venue portfolio continue to be loss making. Wow.
Well, the headline is, which let's not gloss over that. The headline is, I don't think I put it in here, so that's probably my bad. But they made $27 million in the quarter, which is the worst quarter in the seasonal nature of what we do. That quarter going into winter is the worst quarter of the year.
Of course.
And they made $27 million, up 167%, which is pretty fucking amazing.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And
what's PCP?
So per
calendar something.
Prior corresponding period.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that's happened since then. I think they acquired Adelaide Hills and all their mismatch and all their brands and better. There's a lot that's happened in 12 months, but still, if you're looking at companies and you see 170% growth, that's phenomenal.
So they met their sales target.
Yes, like have a look. This is a summary I had for these targets. This is the most impressive thing is the way they forecasted and hit these targets. I've got it here, I think. Maybe I didn't take this as a note, but it's in there. If you look at their PDF, which we'll link to in the show notes, they had a target for BetB for 4 million liters, right?
Right.
They hit 4.2 million liters in the quarter.
Nice.
I mean,
looks like they hit all the numbers.
They hit all the numbers
for
a business like this. It's
spirits,
impossible to predict targets, and they hit every number.
Liters of beer cider.
Yep.
8 million liters of beer cider. 264,000 units bottles of spirits, which beat their 250K target. Yeah.
These guys are very, very switched on. It's really like watching all this unfold is really educational for me because I thought like the Mighty Craft thing the whole time. I thought the whole thing was basically just going to crumble because it made no sense to me. But this BetB thing has changed everything. And now it looks like they're making a lot of revenues, but as far as I can tell, they're still losing a lot of money.
Yes.
Because if you look at
give their beer away for free, don't they?
Well, they got more problems than $300,000 beer giveaways. But so, okay, let's go through these lines. Venue portfolio continued to be loss-making across the quarter, driven by poor performance from 2 Mighty venues and Jetty Road Lawn. So up until a year ago, their whole strategy was opening venues.
Venues, yes.
Right.
It's not now.
Well, apparently their venue making is, they're saying that's where they're losing a lot of money, but the business is losing money. So I don't know if that's genuine or not. But anyway, do you know what the 2 Mighty venues are? Is one
there's a pub in...
they're Mighty themed venues.
Yeah, there's pubs.
Oh, the Hunter Valley one?
No, that's Foghorn. There's a pub in Moonee Ponds in Melbourne. And I think there's the Jetty Road one in Lorne.
Well, there's one more, on top of that. But anyway, so they're trying to get rid of those. The company is seeking to divest Mighty venues and transition the Lorne venue to a more appropriate brand in time for summer trading. Better beer sales, $4.3 million in FY 2022, given a big slowdown over Christmas. That was not a proper Christmas with COVID. I mean, that is unbelievable. Like that beer has to be the #1 independent beer in the country now. right?
Not at 8 million. Oh, independent? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And it launched in November last year.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane. It's previously reported the company is looking at several non-core asset sales, and these will be moved into held for sale in 22 accounts, will result in non-cash impairment of negative $3 million. So they're trying to sell things that they're saying is non-core. So I don't really know what that means. But this is an interesting one. Cost reduction program redundancies. In light of the current operating environment, the company has executed a cost reduction program that will result in 0.7 million of redundancies in FY22. But I think further on in the report, it goes on to say $2 million of people cost savings in FY23. So they're laying off $2 million worth of staff.
What's that, like 15 to 25 people?
I don't think so. Not if the hospital workers.
True.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Oh, this is an interesting one. The company notes that it's in discussions with the ATO about the eligibility for the excise rebate across multiple entities.
Thought you'd like that
fucking
one.
Here we go. The company has received notice from the ATO that the Foghorn Brewery claim for FY20 FY22 has been rejected, and the Kangaroo Island Spirits claim have been rejected for FY2021. The company has 60 days to appeal and will update shareholders further. Fucking oath, it should be fucking rejected.
Okay, I put that in there because I wanted to know your thoughts on that one.
Right. So just a bit of a drone view for those. So basically, every brewery and distillery in the country gets the excise rebate. Think of it like your tax-free threshold, and you pay. And so basically, you don't pay your first $350,000. It used to be 10,000. Then that? No, it was 10. Then it went to 30. Then it went to 100. Now it's $350,000 a year. Now, there are some very strict requirements around the excise rebate program. I'm going to fucking bring up the ATO website. Excise refund. Excise refund for alcohol manufacturers.
The intent of it is to support smaller breweries. That's
absolutely. Yeah. It's there to support small businesses, to support employment, to support tourism, and all that sort of stuff. Right? Who is eligible? To be eligible under the refund, you must hold a excise manufacturer license. You must have manufactured an alcohol beverage and paid excise duty on it. Have fermented or distilled at least 70% of the alcohol by content or volume of the alcoholic beverage. That's so contract brewers can't get access to it.
70, that's interesting. So does that mean because all of their beer is brewed at Casella's Mighty Craft?
And here we go, right? And so be legally and economically independent of any other entity that has received a refund under the scheme. If you are not legally and economically independent of any other entity, only one manufacturer in your group is entitled to the refund. Now, that exists because that stops companies like CUB and Lion claiming $350,000 from Yatla, $350,000 from Abbotsford. Fucking Lion can't access $350,000 from Creatures, Malt Shovel, Stone and Wood, Bevy, right? That's fair.
100%. Right? That's the whole point of the rebate.
That is absolutely fair.
Yeah.
And so if Mighty Craft owns 100% of Slipstream, 10% of Ballistic, 100% of BetB that are making at least 8.
They don't own 100% of BetB, but yes, I get your point.
Right. Well, they own 40% of it, or 60% of it, or something like that. So they got all these different shares of it. Yeah. Maybe that they should be entitled for partial refund on the bits that Mighty Craft don't own, right? But that doesn't go to Mighty Craft. Well, so this
is really unclear about what should happen because, like Ballistic, for example, they should get their refund, right?
No, because Mighty Craft own 10% of them.
Well, I got people that own 10% of Black Ops. It doesn't stop us.
But do they have an excise manufacturer's license? Are they claiming the refund?
No, but
Well, that's the point. That's the sentence, right? It's to be legally and economically independent of any other entity that has received a refund under the scheme.
Legally and economically independent. What does that mean?
To be owned by.
Well, that if you own 10%, you don't own something.
Yes, but
What
you're economically.
What I think is happening is they're trying to claim the rebate for brands that they fully own. Jetty Road, they fully own.
Yeah, Slipstream, they fully own.
Yeah, they're not.
But they can only claim it from one.
Claiming it, yeah. But they're not claiming it for ballistic. But ballistic is claiming it for ballistic.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I guess the argument there would be, can ballistic, the 90% of ballistic that's not owned by Mighty Craft, claim 90% of the $350,000 for ballistic?
No, ballistic have full control. I assume they would claim the full rebate, and Mighty Craft wouldn't be able to claim any of it. And Mighty Craft are trying to claim excise for businesses they fully own.
Yes.
Which they shouldn't.
And
be
they
able
shouldn't.
To. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
almost it's a little bit taking the piss that they're even trying to.
Fucking oath, it's shitty. Fucking oath, it's shitty. Absolutely. That scheme exists, right, to help startup breweries, to help small businesses to grow. That is why that exists. And absolutely, I do not agree whatsoever that Mighty Craft should be claiming that rebate multiple times for multiple breweries and distilleries in their portfolio.
Yeah, but I think that the writing was on the wall with that rule. I think it was like, I think we talked about it on the Black Ops podcast. You create that big enough an incentive. When the government gives out free money for shit, it attracts accountants and consultants and lawyers and
well, it's worth it.
People will figure out the way to take the piss. And that's why when they did all the consultation around that artisanal license, they were like, there needs to be limits around this. Otherwise people will take the piss. And we're like, no, we're craft breweries. We'll be fine. But there are people out there that will 100% take the piss. Yep. And it's happening now with the 350K.
Maybe, fucking oath, it's free money. I agree. Maybe if they claim 90% of the 350K that goes to ballistic, but it benefits Mighty Craft. So I'm not even sure that should be a thing.
No, you're wrong on the ballistic. You're wrong on the ballistic one.
How so?
Because they're a minor shareholder. They're not trying to claim ballistics. One and
How
ballistic.
do you know?
Well, that would be stupid.
Okay, let's take Foghorn, which was specific. Okay, let's take
Foghorn. Foghorn's 100% owned. It's different. It becomes just a brand. That would be like CUB trying to claim a rebate for Bolter, pretending it's an independent company.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's not.
So the 100% owned breweries and distilleries in their portfolio are Slipstream, Foghorn, Jetty Road.
Yep.
Mismatch,
Adelaide Hills, Kangaroo Island.
That's a distillery. Kangaroo Island Distillery. Yeah. Right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish.
There's more than that. Yeah.
That they're trying to claim the $350,000 each.
Oh, it's bullshit. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying the ballistic thing is not. They're not trying to claim ballistics. There's no way they're trying to claim ballistics.
But there is an economic tie there, and I think that might be contested.
I don't think so. But I do think trying to claim it for all of your individual brands that you own is bullshit.
Fucking oath. I'm going to start 5 breweries if that's the case.
But that's what's happening. Yeah, that's what's happening with the 350K is there's like pub groups now starting breweries because they can get excise free beer.
It's a free beer, of course.
And that's why the other thing that I'm noticing it's happening.
That's why Little Bang sold to Duxton, sold to a pub group.
Yeah, yeah. And there's nightclubs in Brisbane with breweries now because they can make beer without paying excise.
Where?
Hypothetically, there might be. I don't know.
A nightclub with a brewery.
And there's breweries that don't make beer.
To claim the excise refund. Yes, I know the ones.
Yeah. All right. Cost. So this is an interesting one. A better beer to distribute and in time manufacture better beer in New Zealand. So they've signed a deal to do that.
Yeah, we've spoken about
the crush in New Zealand.
The Dominion Breweries deal.
Yep. And then export deals with China.
Mhm.
Overhead cost reduction plan. 2 million in redundancies. Yeah. Amazing.
Exporting to
amazing
Rotterdam.
little PDF to read if you're interested in the craft beer industry.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to see next quarter how they pan out and how those that negotiation with the ATO is going to go.
Well, that's small change, really. Like I mean, they'll try and get the money they can, but I think the bit that I was trying to get my head around is like how much money they're losing, and I think it was something. I probably shouldn't even say what I thought it was because I can't understand these reports. They're very vague, but it looked like it was like $10+ million in losses.
Yeah.
Get
your financial controller to fucking
I will
look over it.
Well, but the way they write these reports is a little.
What are you looking for when you hire a bloody financial controller?
I could bring up the KSCs and the interview questions if you want. Yeah.
No, just.
It's a very, very, very important job.
Fucking oath it is.
Yeah. It's a CPA, CA type person, ideally.
How did you come to the realization that you needed a financial controller? Were you just like poring over fucking the books one day and you just throw your hands up and go, fuck it, can't do this shit anymore?
It's more just outgrowing your stages. Like every time you grow from a company doing a few 100,000 to a company doing 1 million to a company doing 10 million to a company doing 20 million, you come across a situation that works really well. Like our first situation was we had the person who shared my office do our books, and she was great, Meryl, and she's still good friends. And it was like, oh, we're outgrowing this situation. We're bigger. We need something different. And then we had Sean, who was a virtual CFO and internal accounts person. That situation worked really well until it didn't, until it was like, actually, we need like rapid, instant access to financial metrics. This like monthly reporting thing doesn't work.
Yeah, too laggy.
Being in Sydney and doing a virtual service doesn't work as awesome as it was at the time. So it's like, we need someone in-house who can just give me these numbers right now. Every time we sit down with the sales team and have a conversation about how much to price a beer or what to set the sales targets at, or every time I sit down with the HR person and say, this person's asked for a $10,000 pay rise, should we say okay to it? We need someone who's got a comprehensive model of what the finances look like. They can bring it up and say, this is not going to work. And it's a stage thing. Like for a long time, you do the accounts by yourself. Like I did the Black Ops accounts by myself for the first 6 months, and you just go through these stages where you realize if you got a decent amount of self-awareness, you realize that you need help. So yeah, finance is super important. All right, should we get to 12 questions?
Yeah.
Has there been any questions in the live chat or no?
Let's see here. So Phil Sharp says that
I know that guy.
My understanding, I hope his head's feeling better, by the way, because he was inside his new mash tun for his brewery, and it's got those little pig's tail sparge things.
Yes. No,
and little pointy little fucking metal things, and he banged his head on it. I, as a fellow follically challenged person,
I was going to say
I understand how much that would hurt. You have no fucking idea.
There's
how
no
much
padding
it hurts.
between the.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Anyway, get well soon, Phil. And what do you say? Mightycraft own 100% of the tap room. That's why Slipstream make more from contract brewing. Yeah, that's right. A nightclub and a brewery. That's Valley Hops. Yeah, possibly. That's all we got. What are the 12 questions?
Actually, there's two on here that are quite good. So Phil also said consulting is probably due to town planning. That's a very fair point on the future. True. Yeah. And Phil's opening a brewery, so he would know. And Nick said national distribution, Nick Lennon, national distribution, how hard is it to get into at the moment as a startup brewery? There was mention of that in the Future Magic prospectus. I can't say prospectus, offer document. Impossible is the answer. And then if you do it creates way more problems.
Yes.
So that made me nervous when I saw that as well. But yes, I'm sure I was saying the same thing when I started the brewery. That's just, you have a plan, and that's your
Mm.
plan, and
Yeah.
it's unknown. It's very, very unknown, and it's actually Birchall are pretty good at telling people, be careful how much future, like forecasting and whatnot you put into that document,
Yes.
because you have to be really careful with what you say. So
Bloody
yeah,
oath.
because it is very, very unknown. All right.
All
So
right.
questions. Wait, first of all, Matthew Cuthbert
Yes.
put this post in the group, and it can't be described as anything other than
It was a
shit.
blue Gladfield shirt. Just say it.
It was, I know it was it. Well, it wasn't a shirt.
Flano.
It was a flannel, and he put this comment in here which was super aggressive. I thought,
Right.
you said we should have a conversation about, because he called it a DDH flannel,
That's right.
right?
But
And,
double
and
dry
we
hopping.
all know that's not a like the red flannel is the quintessential dry hop flannel.
Yes.
Changing it to blue doesn't make it somehow a better, more legitimate flannel.
No, fuck no.
No. So it was a shit. It was fake news. It was
Yes.
fake news to start with, but then he
Passive
replied,
aggressive.
and then he replied and said, "You said let's get Dan's opinion on the flannel," and he replied and said, "You have to be a brewer to give an opinion on the flannel."
Oh, snap.
That was a fucking very savage comment.
Was he talking about? I think he was talking about me though.
No, he's talking about. I've got a blue flannel on right now. Look at this. How many dry hops do you get out of this?
That's a vest. Is that a jacket? With just
No, it's
the vest
it's a
part?
jacket. It's not really a flannel, but you get the point. Anyway.
There's a lot going on with that.
I
It's
know
like a
it is. I
jacket
know. I don't
with a
take it out in
flannel,
public.
and it's a
very
fucking
often.
hoodie.
It is a hoodie. Yeah, it is. I know. I'm sorry. Right.
Now you look like the fucking Unabomber. Give me the fucking 12 questions.
There's no question that well, the first one is, what do you think of that flannel? It's definitely not a double dry hop flannel. That's bullshit.
No, definitely not. We need to find an allocation for what blue means.
But didn't we have this discussion? It's a malting. It's to do with malting or something, isn't it? It's a mashing flannel. I don't know.
We had purple one and all the sort of ones we get through. Okay, we need to probably create a series of polls in the Facebook group. And if you're listening to this and you're not in the Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer. And we'll start some polls as to which color should be allocated to which job in the brewery.
With activity, yeah. Well,
and the only one that's not up for debate is red and dry hopping.
Exactly. But I'm not willing to. I'm not willing to.
One for malt milling, yeast propagating,
packaging.
Fuck yeah.
I respect Matthew Cuthbert a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we can't just accept that that's a DDH flannel just because he says it's a DDH flannel.
Absolutely, I agree, 100%.
Okay, all right. I think the poll's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And what about it's only accepted if it gets 12 votes?
Exactly, 12 or a multiple.
Or a multiple of 12. All right. But then you could fuck with the bike. If it had 12, you could give it 13 and ruin the whole thing.
Well, that's the game you play.
All right. That's a game. And oh yeah, and then we look at it on next week's episode. So whatever it is on the episode is what goes.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. You have to do the poll though, because I do a lot of fucking editing and processing and shit with this podcast.
I can do that.
Right. You do the poll. And now we out of the 12 questions, we have one question. And the question is from Connor McCormack. Number 2. His question is Dixon Flano's update.
I haven't done anything. Have you done anything?
Sure haven't.
Oh, there you go. That's the update.
Okay. So, okay, nothing's happened with Dixon. The beer has already been brewed without any of us being involved.
Yeah.
What about sponsorship? Did you contact Railings? Oh, fuck it, I said Railings. Damn it. Did you contact the people that reached out to us that were going to sponsor our podcast?
I'm going to have a chat to them. And
can we get payment for that mention, please?
I hope so. we should put the money into merch so we can put some merch up for sale.
100%.
Not that we want to, I don't care about making money from merch, but someone's got to bankroll it, and I don't want to bankroll it, and you don't want to bankroll it.
Well, the thing is with merch though, it's like it's not hard to get merch made, but it's hard to come up with ideas. And it's a lot of back and forth, and then it's impossible to ship it out and stuff. Like if you can get someone to somehow do all of it, I'm so down for that.
Yeah, I've got someone in mind.
Okay. If we can do that, that'd be sweet. So we can get the sponsorship money and just put into merch, and
yeah,
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Right. We need to get more questions. Like this 12 questions is like, you know, I put the list.
Maybe it's because we're live and everyone's asking their questions live.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Phil Sharp says Gladfield sells malt. So why is red for dry hopping?
Because
there's a Gladfield logo.
Because I said so. That's why.
Yeah, and there's
Any
the
more
thing
questions,
that surprised
Phil?
me. The thing that surprised me is that I didn't know that, like, you've got your red Gladfield flannel, and Matty Cuthbert's got his blue Gladfield flannel.
Oh, he would have a red one as well, for sure.
You know what he is actually getting? He's getting his Wyman jumpsuit.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's really hard for a brewer to get. I want a Wyman jumpsuit. He's earned a Wyman jumpsuit.
Yes.
So that's the red jumpsuit with the yellow t-shirt. That. Do you know how hard they are to get? Do you know what you got to do to get a Wyman jumpsuit?
No, you did tell me it was quite difficult.
You've got to win a trophy in an international standard competition from a beer that's made from at least, I think, 80 or 90% Wyman malt. Yeah.
That flannel that Matty Cuthbert's got, so they went on so we had a tour lined up, right, for New Zealand a couple of years ago. It was actually, the return date was the day the COVID shutdowns happened.
Yeah.
And it was going to be me, Eddie, and Govs. And I thought it made more sense for Gaz to go, who was our head brewer at the time. So I gave my ticket up for Gaz to go. So Eddie, Govs, and Gaz went over. They went to New Zealand. They went to Gladfield. They got the special treatment. Oh, fuck. I just thought of a news item, that Gladfield bloody job ad.
That was funny.
I forgot to put that in the show notes.
Whatever.
Anyway, so they went over there, and I think that might have been how I got my Gladfield flannel, because they came back with merch, I think.
Just in the nick of time. 2 hours before the borders
he
closed.
got from that trip, because Matty Cuthbert was on the trip with them.
That's right.
And I assume he got that one on the same trip, and the one I got was given to me. I was not on the trip, but it was given to me afterwards. And there you go. And Gaz now works at Revel, I think. So
he does.
Full cycle.
The circle of life is complete.
We're not talking about that job ad, are we? That's
no.
Too many topics.
Loads of topics. All happening.
I totally forgotten about that until just then.
Oh, so funny.
All right.
So funny.
All right, mate. That's it.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Well, it was good talking to you.
Scooter update next week.
Give you a scooter update next week, because next week I should officially have acquired it.
Oh, okay.
Because the message has gone out to all the other people in the building. If it's yours, come and get it. And there's a drop dead date. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Nice. All right. Have a good week.
See you next week.
See you next week, mate. Love your work. Cheers.
Laters.